Simon is in Orpington, Kent. And by the way, I should say, you've got a bit of a cold. Because you've been campaigning.
just where we've been out sort of, door knocking in the cold and the wet. So a bit of a husky voice tonight. Sorry about that.
OK, let's see if you last till 7. Simon, What's your question for Mark Francois?
Hello, gents. Mark, I wondered why you're backing a deal that signs us up to a level playing field on tax, competition and state aid and social and environmental protection, when I thought Brexit was about being able to make our own decisions on these areas.
Well, the European Research Group, as you know, many of us opposed Theresa May's deal. 28 of us specifically. We got nicknamed the Spartans by the media because basically it didn't ultimately take us out of the European Union. So when we had the New Deal being negotiated, 4 members of the ERG were assigned to negotiate from our end, as it were, with number 10. And they were IDS, as a former party leader, Sibylle Cash, as our, uncontested legal eagle, Steve Baker, the chairman, and myself as the deputy. And at the start of that process, we set ourselves one acid test that we would measure the outcome of the negotiations by. And the acid test was whatever comes out of the tunnel. If you remember, it was known as the negotiating tunnel. Whatever comes out of the tunnel, does it actually mean we leave the European Union or not? We fought for a number of concessions in the bill to implement the deal, what's known as the Withdrawal Agreement Implementation Bill, or the WAIB for short, because this is a treaty, so you need an Act of Parliament to ratify it. And we got something called a sovereignty clause, which I can come back to if we need more time, and certain other guarantees that we wanted. But the fundamental bottom line is that the difference between Boris's deal and Theresa May's deal is that Boris's deal does take us out of the EU. It's not perfect. We've not arrived in, some Eurosceptic Valhalla, but it does take us out. And on that basis, every single member of the ERG, every single Spartan voted for it. And I put it to you, is it conceivable, as someone who obviously understands these things from the question that you've asked, do you really believe that Sibylle Cash or Peter Bone or Philip Hollobone or Andrew Bridgen or IDS or Owen Patterson or John Redwood, do you really believe we would all have voted for something if we knew in our heart of hearts it kept us in the EU?
Simon.
It doesn't.
Well, I think there's permitted dissent, isn't there, Mark? And perhaps you've taken it as far as you can go. You're just repeating that we will leave the EU. But, of course, we can leave in name only, and maybe that enables you to claim a victory, but it won't deliver Brexit. And I think a lot of people have got a nasty surprise in store. You didn't actually answer the questions I asked you, which was why would you sign us up to a level playing field on those 3 issues? So that was my question, Mark.
Well, let me take that directly. We don't. Because you're talking about the political declaration.
I am, yes.
Not the withdrawal agreement. The political declaration
which is in the withdrawal agreement to say that you will give best endeavours to stick to the terms of the political declaration.
Yes, but the declaration has been changed from the one that Theresa May agreed. It's been altered.
And I'm talking specifically about Boris's deal.
Well, exactly, but the political declaration has been altered.
Yeah,
sorry. You've asked me the question. You've got to let me explain.
Well, you didn't explain the first time, so I'm hoping to just get the answer on the second time.
Well, I'm trying. The political declaration has been changed away from a Chequers-style high alignment, which was in the first one, to a comprehensive free trade agreement, which is in the second, which we have to agree and implement at the end of 2020. That super Canada-style FTA will allow us to negotiate a free trade deal, which is what many Eurosceptics have always wanted, so that we could trade into the foreseeable future with the EU with low, or in some cases even no, tariffs. So what you've put to me has been overtaken by events because the political declaration has been changed.
Simon, you have the last word.
Okay, well, he still hasn't answered the question. I asked why there was a level playing field, why he's agreed to a level playing field on those three areas. Now, people from the left of politics and the right of politics should be worried about this, because if you're on the left, maybe you want higher taxes, maybe you want more state aid, or maybe you want less. It's not up to the Boris and the Tories to sign our ability to decide that and to sign it away now in this withdrawal agreement, just so they can get Brexit
With
and save their party.
You're incorrect, because many international free trade agreements, including between countries that have nothing to do with the EU, use the phrase a level playing field.
Which was specifically put in at the European Commission's request. It was added with Theresa May's deal, and Boris has continued it over. It was put in at their request because they were worried about the UK making advantage, having a competitive advantage after Brexit.
Simon, thank you very much for the question. You had a fair go at Mark Francois. I want to move on now to Dave, who's